See, I'ma do this right, never ever could I do this if force. While increasing the funds, we're still checking the scores. Whether it's high goals galore or we're coming up short, still the passion is up in arms, loud as hell to the core. Analysis along with stats, now Jerry runs through that. While G's keeping it G, we'll play a race with facts. No cap, we keep it thorough, keep it true. For every borough, tuning into the pieces of true clean. See, you're tuning to the pitch. Talking ballers, goal stats or kits that keep it fly for every player, balling slick. See, you're tuning to the pitch. Talking all the fundamentals of the sport we love. Perfect show, feeling flow. See, you're tuning to the pitch. See, you're tuning to the pitch. We welcome you to the pitch.
Telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is she? Where is she? She telling me to come forward, come for me. I don't know why finally now I just spoke my mind. I know it's long since we spoke sometime, but this thing no play, I go change your mind. Just give me some time, really please, cause I don't have no time to waste. No more back and forth just like Aaliyah. That's all I wanna do right now is grab it up. So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend up on that reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. Well, when me gonna grab it up? So you know me gonna grab it up. Body to body make a bend over the reeling. Bad man turn you over like a steering. But she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's killed it.
You made the decision to take Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system. To move back to left, you don't want to change from the 4-3. What's going on, people? We're back again on the Jerry James Show. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend. As you know, Liverpool started off great, man. Great. 3 points in the bag again. Sitting top of the league for a while until City got their victory over the Hammers. But things are looking on the up for Liverpool, man. They just are. So look, big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we are smashing a like. It's the tactics board. We've managed to get the main man G back. I don't know. G's been getting AWOL. People asking what's going on with him. Is he not dedicated anymore? Is he hiding because Liverpool's doing well? Has Megatron been defeated? These are the claims that were being made by the people in the chat. So yeah, we've got him back. Big up to everyone in the building. Make sure anytime you see our faces in front of the camera, you're hitting that like button. Does help the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel, subscribe now. If you don't want to subscribe now, wait until the video's after. Maybe after the second video, maybe a next show and then subscribe then. But remember to subscribe. And if you have done, hit that notification bell as well. That way you can keep up to date when we're dropping content. We actually need to get a bit more organized of when we're doing it. But that's besides the point. We're here now. We've got the tactics board with you. Before I get to anyone in the comments, G, what are you telling me, man? I can't hear you, bro. Again, rookie errors. I need a boo from everyone in the chat. Shout out everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing a like. Chat, let me know. Can you hear me or can you hear G? Right now, I don't know what's going on. Okay, G, can you hear me? Oh, yeah, we can't hear you, man. We can't hear you. See, G's going to have to leave and come back. This is what it is. But there we go. People are booing you already. You've got Anfield Road and saying boo as well. Boo, boo. Megatron's mad. I'm gonna get to the people in the chat anyway. We got Fritz in the building. Big up to Fritz. Big up to Ravi as well. We got Alexander Delos in the building. Big up to Strasbourg Steve as well. Going on at a mad time. So yes, the algorithm's gonna be off, but we had to go and drop this to you. Darwin can't hear him. No one can hear him, man. No one can hear him. Yeah, G went anonymous like the Darwin doubter that he is. He did, man. But listen, we're going to get into it. Before I get into it, let's chat about the game. So getting into the game, as you guys know, I predicted a comfortable 3-1 win. A comfortable 3-1 win. People said it will be tricky, but I looked at our results. I looked at the stats. And everything geared me towards a Liverpool win. Yet lo and behold, Bellegarde, Lemina, Cunha, Neto. It seemed as though in that first half we gave Neto his career back. I kid you not. It's as if Neto was reincarnated. It's like Cal put a spell on us. I know he's your favourite player, Cal. I know you really like him. But you were definitely gassing him up. And if you weren't, and I know you haven't been on stream, you were definitely gassing the people up in the group chat. And lo and behold, he turned up. And it was a mad game to see, man. A mad game to see some of, obviously, our best performers this season. The likes of Soboslai, McAllister. Shocking first half performances. Shocking. Gomez. Ice Spice. Album's back out now. Second album. Platinum. It's already hit platinum. That first half was looking crazy. We're looking at Klopp all different kinds of ways. And it's so funny because we've had this conversation before. But lo and behold, whatever you want to call it, is it mentality monsters? Is it Klopp's in-game management? Is it the players? Is it Wolves being terrible? That's really giving us a blind. That's what we're going to have to do today. Because there's so many talks of whether this is sustainable, whether it's not. Right now, I couldn't give a monkeys. We're getting wins. 5 out of 6 games. So 5 out of 6 games have been wins, have been dubs. Packs, smoking packs. 1 draw against a Chelsea team, which, being honest, looking back at it now in hindsight, we should have won. We should have won. And for me, I'm in a situation right now where I've got to hold my hands up, man. And we're having a very good start to this season. Big up to Strasbourg Steve, a game of 2 halves. Big up to Dana Jackson, the building. Shout out to Bellegarde, former Strasbourg midfielder. He was good. Facts, he was good, man. Neto moving like Prime Suarez. Listen, it was crazy. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And we're going to get into the stats. I'm waiting for G to come in. I don't know what's going on with his. We're going to wait for him to load and that. I don't know. This is what happens with Megatron. This is the world don't want to hear his negativity, guys. The world don't want to hear his negativity. But lo and behold, we're here. We've got the 3 points. And looking at it, going into the Europa League, we're on form. We proved, this is. We spoke. We knew Konate was going to be out or doubt because of injury. We knew he wasn't going to start. I mean, there was a doubt about that. We knew Virgil was out for 100%. We knew Trent was out 100%. Klopp spoke about, the South American players not being ready. Lo and behold, the lineup was really surprising. But this was always going to be a big test of our squad depth. And I'm not going to lie, 3-1's not bad. 3-1's not bad, man. But look who we got here. It's Megatron himself from the bunker. Do you know what I mean? The Klopp Defense League raiding on G.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, calm. Yeah. Your thing, I couldn't hear it properly, but when I logged back in again, I couldn't hear it, and it just kept freezing. That's why I had to come out and then come out. But I'm in.
You are pixelated. You are completely pixelated. Like right now, it's like I'm doing a stream of Minecraft. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Let me tell you. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it must be internet connection. But look, G, you there? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here. Yeah, chat to me.
All right, cool. But chat to us, man. The game. Going into the game, obviously we know you haven't been about. What was your prediction for the game, man?
I thought Liverpool would win 2-1. 2-1, or we'd end up a draw in the game in itself.
Why did you think that going into the game?
It's Wolves. Wolves have just been poor at the beginning of the season, man. I think they've had good performances. I mean, I know they had that game against Manchester United that they should have won. Well, they should have at least taken a point. Let me not say won, but they should have. It definitely should have taken a point. Yeah, but I just felt like we should, and obviously it happened in the end where we should have just had too much quality for them. At the end of the day, you know, I didn't think it would be as problematic as it was, but I definitely thought that we should have enough to put these guys to the sword, regardless really of who's kind of playing. But yeah, that game was. I think I saw someone mention it before. It really was a game of two halves, man.
Yeah, but why did you think it would be a draw then with Wolves? Considering why 2-1 or a draw though?
Because it's just one of those kind of fixtures. It's 12:30 kickoff. We just come back after the international break. Didn't know who was going to play. Didn't know who was available. I didn't know that Trent was still unavailable. I didn't know Konate wasn't going to play. Obviously Diaz starting on the bench. I actually didn't think McAllister would play. I didn't think he was going to start him because them man were all away for international duty and stuff like that. And it was just more really who was going to play. That was really my only kind of thing looking at the team. But then really and truly, when you looked at the team on paper, I mean, it was a team that really should be beating Wolves regardless, to be honest with you. I mean, the only player that you probably would have looked of, and I think that's something that I was mentioning to you and Ram before the game, was Kwanzaa, and he was the best player, which is so funny to say, but obviously we'll get into that in a sec.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And that's the game, as you said, man. The game was Strasbourg. Steve, big up to yourself. A game of two halves, and looking at that game, in that first half, it was like, and Klopp really summed it up. Post match, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And I know it's mad, and we could have pointed at loads of different reasons as to why it was. Some people would have said the setup. Some people would have said the lineup. It was the tactics. I'm not going to lie. For me, in that first half, it was all down to the players. I don't know about you, G, but for me, the players that have performed really well this season had like shockers, like absolute shockers. Couldn't pass.
Why do you think that is though? Or you just think it's one of them kind of things, just like one of them?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things, man. I mean, look, there's reason you can start to come up with reasons and theories and stuff, but there's nothing concrete. It's like I could go and say, yeah, you know, now McAllister as an example. I know apparently he was tired and relieved to come off when Klopp subbed him because he was tired from the game, and Klopp did speak about, you know, these players not being able to, like perform at the highest level because of the 12:30 kickoff, because of when Klopp was doing his press conference before the game that landed at 4 a.m. that morning. They didn't train with the team. They had to just go straight into a game. So I understand it from that perspective. I guess when you're talking about like pro level and high level football, Diaz obviously didn't start. So and Nunes didn't either. I know he had a little hamstring injury or got taken off at half time during the international break, but that was an indicator to say that the South American players weren't ready. Obviously, he was forced to go and play. But we never do well after international breaks anyway. I think just the players, we've never been a team that does well after the international break. I mean, that's always been a fear since Klopp's been there. And I don't really know what it was, but I can't look at tactics and this because Liverpool couldn't string 3 passes together.
For real.
Liverpool couldn't string 3 passes together. So at that point, it's like, I can't even blame the players right now Like, I can't blame the players. It's not like we were hoofing the ball and we weren't trying to play through the back. We were trying to play through the middle of the park. But Sobosai was giving the ball away. McAllister was giving the ball away. Gakpo was non-existent. Jota's touch was baggy. Salah was anonymous. You had obviously Gomez coming inverted, not being able to get on the ball. And like, look, you could argue in hindsight, yeah, maybe Klopp made the mistake playing Gomez inverted, but I wouldn't say that's a mistake, because I guess what he's trying to do is create a system that we can go and play no matter who's available, as opposed to, do you know what I mean? Like, so not having to go and change away from what's supposedly been working. So he's looked at it and said, yeah, for this Wolves game, we're not playing City. Joe Gomez coming inverted should be fine. Like, they've got, like, it should be fine. Yet, because everyone else was off, McAllister was off, Sobosai was off. Do you know what I mean? You had Salah that was a bit off. Jota was dead. Gakpo was non-existent. You had obviously Matip and Gomez at the back that were just terrible defensively. Gomez coming in midfield, obviously that whole situation didn't help him, and he's not the best on the ball in that regard, like from that perspective. So it just made it terrible, man. I don't know what you got to say about that first half, but
bro, listen, man, the first half was like my review said, it was a Jekyll and Hyde performance, man. Real Jekyll and Hyde settings. Like, honestly, you just wouldn't have known if Wolves had scored that second goal from Cunha. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Obviously, we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, if they scored that, all of a sudden now you're just looking at the game completely differently. I'm not saying we wouldn't have come back. I'm not saying I still thought we would have scored a goal or two, but then that's where my 2-2 prediction would have come into effect, because then I would have thought, I don't see us losing, but at the same time, it's looking a bit, you know what I mean? Big up Sadiq. Yeah, it was, as your emoji says there, you know what I mean? It was literally that, kind of thing where, it was just so poor, in that first half. And you're right, it wasn't really well, I mean, the tactics are the tactics at the end of the day, and like, we've been doing this, since the beginning of the season, back in the last season a little bit as well. So the tactics are the tactics, and I guess you're just really seeing that if things are not really, I don't know, like if we're not allowed to really do what we want to do, then I'm looking at everyone. Szoboszlai, as you mentioned, Salah, Gakpo, Gomez, Matip, two experienced, very experienced defenders, back there. McAllister, Jota, all the names that you mentioned. I'm looking at them in these kind of games or in that first half. I'm saying, all right, cool. Like, show me. Like, we're playing against Wolves, bro. Man's not playing against flipping. If it's playing against Brighton, I'd understand. Or I'd at least say, you know what? All right, say no more. Yeah, I mean, because Brighton could put anybody to the sword. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? I've seen them bop too many teams off the park. This is Wolves, though, bro. Like, I'm sorry, international break. That's no excuse, man. Wolves had an international break as well. They've had players away on international duty. They've had South American players also away on international duty. So I'm sitting there thinking, what is it like? We didn't have an 11 full of South Americans. You know what I mean? Like, and on top of that, look at the team that we played. It's not like we played Darwin Núñez, we played Luis Diaz, we played McAllister, we played all of these guys, and then you can probably say, but all of them were tired, bro. We only played McAllister. I think, was it McAllister? Yeah, McAllister. Alisson, I can't remember if he played during the break. Who else is there? That's about it. Gakpo, Jota, Salah, like all of these guys. Like, so yeah, it was honestly, bro, it was just so bad, man. So like, it was a 0 out of 10, like that first half. Like, it was poor, man.
Yeah, it was definitely poor. I mean, they could have been 2-0 up. Cunha missed the sit. Like, he reminded me of Konate against Arsenal last season.
Sorry,
where the balls come across.
Jerry, who did Cunha used to play for before he came to Wolves? Do you know?
Atletico Madrid.
I see why they let him go. No, I'm joking. Yeah, go on, sir.
No, Atletico Madrid, and then before that was Hoffenheim. So he was basically Bobby Firmino. Not his direct replacement, but he was the guy that was supposed to do that Bobby Firmino role. So he's a striker, but he's a number 10. He's now playing up front, that type of player. So can play.
Hold on, bro. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna jump in on another device and see if it works this time.
All right, cool. And yeah, people. So it was obviously a bit mad. What we're going to do straight off the bat now is going to obviously look at the stats, because we know we ended up obviously getting and winning the game. Obviously, the first goal that we scored was someone remind me. Actually, let's see if you guys actually watched the game. Who scored the first goal? Who scored the first goal for Liverpool? No one's going to say it? Cool, I'm going to say it. Of course, it was Cody Gakpo. Great ball across the box by Salah. Again, Salah proven to be a creator. And then look, everyone knows on this channel, I've criticized Salah a lot in regards to his all-round gameplay. Specifically last season, because even though he's able to still get his goals and assists, I thought that a lot of the time, there were so many games where he wouldn't get a goal, or he would get a goal, or he would get an assist, but he had a really, really terrible game. A really, really, really terrible game. However, this season, he's proven that even without, getting the outrageous goals, and, not really up to par in comparison to last season in regards to goals, assist-wise, he's top in the chart, and he's really gone and kind of developed his game. Of course, the second goal coming from Andy Robertson at the death, 85th minute. And we're going to explain how that goal actually came about, and was that just great mentality monster play? Was that a tactical kind of switch by Klopp? And of course, Harvey Elliott wrapping it up as well, hitting one in from outside the box, just off the post as well, and sealing the victory, which was like, like I said, when you looked at that first half, it looked like it would be anything but a 3-1 win. So props for obviously the players for doing that. We've got G back, and look, he's back. He's out from the basement.
How is it now? Like, someone told me.
It's perfect. That's perfect. It's perfect.
Right, cool. My apologies, people. My apologies.
Yeah, but as we're looking here, if we're going to go and obviously have a look at the stats. I want to make sure these are the stats. 1 second. No, they're not. Crazy. Yeah, these are the stats, people. So as we can see, our stats are on the right. Wolves is on the left. So the Wolves stats column is kind of where my head is. Wolves had 11 shots, 2 on target. Liverpool 16 shots, 6 on target. Wolves had 0 big chances, with Liverpool having 4 big chances, according to Opta. Completed passes, we almost had kind of triple the amount of passes. So they had 296, we had 638. So almost triple. 60 obviously passes in the attacking third, only 63 for Wolves, 150 for Liverpool. So as we know, really trying to hit us on the counter. 36 take-ons as a result, so driving with the ball. I think that's going to be a major part of Wolves' game this season. It's something that they did against United and proved to be really, really successful. And in that first half, they did a lot of the same things again. We had 20 take-ons in that game, 15 and 18 crosses each, respectively, 18 in favour of Liverpool, 29 tackles for Wolves, 42 for Liverpool, 13 interceptions for Wolves with 9 for Liverpool, and Wolves conducting 10 fouls with Liverpool only conducting 4. So the stats there, like, again, in favour of Liverpool, but maybe signifying the first half, or kind of portraying the first half more than the second half, because in the second half, Klopp made obviously these changes, radical changes, taking off McAllister. We haven't seen him be that ruthless in a very, very long time. Taking off McAllister, taking off, is it Gakpo?
Yeah, because after Gakpo scored, he came off straight away.
After Gakpo scored, so early in the second half, obviously McAllister, that was the first sub. So McAllister at half-time, taken off for Luis Diaz. Gakpo, as soon as he scores in the 55th minute or so, 58th minute, taken off straight away for Darwin Núñez. And ruthless in that regard, and the game changes.
No, it's just, it was so drunk when Gakpo came off, because like I was busting up because he tried not look at the bench. I was like, bro, you're coming off, bro. Don't think because you scored a goal that you wasn't coming off. Like, everyone knew that your time's up, my guy. Like, he tried not look at the bench. I was busting up for time. Try, you do the celebration and you did the kiss and then like the sign across. Was like, try not just, and then he had that little sleeky look, and then he just carried on, put his hands on his hips and that, and I was like, nah, you need to come off, my bro. Like, it's your time. But the changes, specifically, probably I can't remember when Elliot came on, that was the biggest change for me. I think that that was the one that really allowed us to kind of push forward, in my opinion. I think obviously, you know, Diaz coming on, he's got energy. Yeah, that abundance of energy, him coming on, him being a threat down that left-hand side as well, up against Semedo. Yeah, Semedo. You know, by this time now, Wolves have exerted all the energy. They're done. Like, that 45 minutes was like 90 minutes to them. So you bring on Luis Diaz, myth. That's long. I'm not trying to face Luis Diaz when I'm tired. You know, I ain't got no more energy. Bringing on, I think Darwin come on at some point as well, but Elliot was the one, because in midfield we were just losing the battles too much, like in terms of just trying to get the ball forward and drive with the ball. It's nice, you know, Szoboszlai, he was doing passes, but he wasn't doing nothing. Like, he wasn't really pushing it in the way that I needed him to really pin Wolves back. And that's when I felt Elliot, yo, big up all the Elliot guys out there, man, because I know they've been talking about him for time, and we've been a bit critical of him, but he played really, really well, in my opinion, when he come on, you know, in that second half, man. He was the guy for me anyway.
It's mad. Like, speaking on that, I think we might as well unpack that, because I think he was good. I think all the subs that came on were good. I don't think he was the major difference, though, because when you look at the average, because when you look at the average positions, he weren't even actually playing in midfield. He weren't, because the way we started to go and play in that second half, and I'll actually we'll get the graphic and look at it. It was essentially a 3-2-5.
Yeah.
Everyone was on the last line. It was Jones and Szoboszlai in the midfield by themselves. Robertson was getting up, which made it obviously a 3. And Robertson was bombing forward. But for me, and this is what I'm so impressed with, and I look back and I watched the game today. You see Szoboszlai? Because his performance actually, I think, went actually under the radar in that second half. He was one of the worst performers. I think he was one of the worst. I mean, look, I've got the stats as well. He's one of the worst performers in that first half. The stats in the second half were outstanding from a passing perspective. And it's what we would associate with a top midfield, kind of deep line midfield player. If we had signed like a Bruno Guimaraes and he got these stats, if it was Thiago and got these stats, would have been like, wow. He completely took the control away from Wolves and allowed the likes of an Elliot to be further forward, allowed Gakpo to get further forward. And obviously he was playing as a 10, essentially, but he wasn't. He was essentially a second striker, and allowed him to get forward, allowed Robbo to get forward, where Robbo didn't in that first half, allowed Gomez to play more like a stereotypical right back. And obviously Szoboszlai was the main one, but him and Curtis Jones in that pivot in that second half, they completely took the game away from them. And like we'll get the stats. So when I look at it here, and you can obviously beg to differ, you look at passes as an example. Here again, Joel Matip obviously with the most passes, Joel Kwanzaa and obviously Andy Robertson make it obviously part of the back. The back. Well, obviously Joel Kwanzaa, Matip, who obviously we're going to talk about Kwanzaa, but Joel Kwanzaa and Joel Matip, obviously they're the deepest of the centre backs, because Joe Gomez was playing a bit further forward, so they're going to get a lot of the ball. Dominic Szoboszlai, look at the passes, 82 out of 99. Now, look, it's not 89, it's not 90 out of 99 or 95 out of 99, but still, second most passes in the whole game. Curtis Jones, very, very efficient with the ball. As you can see, 76 passes made, only 72 completed. So, I mean, only 4 misplaced passes in the whole game. We go and then look at attacking third passes, and this is what's crazy. 40 attempted attacking third passes, 31 completed by Dominic Szoboszlai. 16 out of 19 by Jones. Again, Jones steady Eddie, but this is what I mean by Szoboszlai. Not only were his passes, was he making the most passes out of anyone in the pitch, taking away the 2 centre-backs, he made the most out of any player in the attacking third. More than a Salah, who created the most chances, more than an Elliot, more than McAllister, more than anyone else. But he was playing the deepest, which suggests to me the passes that he's making are all forward-thinking frontline passes. I'm being precise on my pass. It might not be I'm passing to the assist, but it's everything that is people. It's the same pass that Thiago would make, and people rave about Thiago. It's the pass before the pass. It's the pass before Salah makes the thing. And making 31 out of 40 attacking third passes where in the second half, you had to play as a deep line player where he was next to Matip at times trying to receive the ball. To me, is crazy because when we signed the player was supposed to be an attacking midfielder. You're focused on going forward. You're a right winger, and that's it. For me, this is the equivalent of like if Foden went and played as a DM. That's the type of players I compare them. I know they're not the same style in their profile, but when I look at players, I'm like, you're both kind of number 10s. You can play out wide, you can play in the 8, but number 10 is probably your best position that I recall Szoboszlai playing for RB Leipzig. They got off that right. Foden's very similar. He's an attacking midfielder, plays off that left, has played in the 8. But for me, it's the equivalent of seeing something like that. And for me, when that happened, I was like, what are we doing? I was like, why is Endo not coming on? When that first change happened, I was like, at halftime, I said, get McAllister off. I want Endo on. And I want Jota or Gakpo. I want Gakpo off for Diaz. That was what I was screaming. And I said I wanted Nunes on as well. All of a sudden, I'm seeing something I've never seen. And shout out to the Hungarian coach, the Hungarian manager. They were saying, yeah, Szoboszlai can play in DM. He can be a defensive midfielder. When there was all this talk about, are we going to get Lavia? Are we going to get Caicedo? Are we going to get this brother? Is Amrabat? When that coach said that, I was like, this coach has lost his mind. What? Szoboszlai DM. I take it back. I know it's obviously a small sample size, but for me, that was the change in the game because that's when we got a hold of we got control. In that first half, we had a lot of the ball. Like we were getting the ball. We were winning it back. McAllister was getting it. Misplaced pass. One pass, two pass goes out. One pass, two pass, it gets cut out. It was terrible. As soon as he went into that DM position, he gained control. And Elliot only obviously came on later on in the game. So I don't know, man.
No, to be fair, I agree. To be honest, I agree. I agree with the assessment of him in that DM. I don't think it was that. I think you got to take context into these things. Wolves didn't do anything. They weren't trying to. He had all the ball because Wolves sat deep. They didn't really push forward. You could tell they must have switched up in terms of tactically. Like they went from in that first half trying to be on the front foot, trying to get up and at us, the pressing, they were doing the most, like getting the ball out to like Neto, and I can't remember who was on the right wing, but whoever was on the other side, like they were just trying to do their utmost to make sure that they were up and at Liverpool. Once they obviously got that goal, should have got a second, they were kind of in the ascendancy. I don't know what Gary O'Neill told them. Gary O'Neill, I don't know what he told them at half time, but they just sat back. Maybe they lost energy. I don't know.
Do you think they sat back because of what Liverpool were doing? Like, put it this way: every team, even let's say we had a 5-a-side team, right? And we go out, we say, yeah, we're going to go and press them. You try press them, but what happens is you win the ball back off them. So you press them, but you win the ball back. That press suggests to you it works, so you go and do it. You do it more, and lo and behold, we were giving the ball away so much and losing possession so much, they were able to go and do that and kind of counter that. When they tried to go and press, but you can't press Szoboszlai because he's been so good with the ball and he's popped it off. What we wanted McAllister to do in that DM, the reason why he's playing in the DM, and he wasn't able to offer, and Szoboszlai weren't great in that first half. All of a sudden in that second half, Jones and Szoboszlai, you couldn't press them. Like you literally couldn't press them. We've seen they didn't miss. They had like 80 to 90% obviously ball pass succession completion. We look here in terms of the stats. Where is it? Foul suffered, which is really interesting. Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones, they suffered the most fouls in this game. McAllister suffered one and the Gakpo one, but Dominic Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones, they were the players that had the most of the ball in the midfield. They were dictating place. They were in the midfield going to be pressed more. Them being fouled means that the opposition didn't get the ball, which is another indicator to me that when people talk about like press-resistant midfielders, you try to press them, they're spinning you or passing the ball onto you. Oh, no. You get close enough, you foul. So after a while, it's like, all right, this brother's got a foul. Bellegarde got a foul. Do you know what I mean? You had Lemina. He got a foul, was late on the challenge. In that first half, they were winning the ball. So now you're doing that. It's like, what can we do? If I go and press and we press incorrectly, we get opened up. First Liverpool goal. They try pressing correctly. We work the ball really well. Do you know what I mean? We get into their box. Great little pass from Jota. Salah, a great assist again. I spoke about when you were off camera. Goal from Gakpo. When the press went wrong, that's what happened. all of a sudden you start to be like, hey, if we press again and we don't do it well, then we're in trouble. And maybe for me, I think it was like, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I don't think it was Gary O'Neill saying sit back, because that half was too good to sit back. There was no threat from Liverpool in that half.
But then that graphic that you just showed there, who's third? In fact, no, who's joint top?
No, Semedo.
And this is what
fantastic first half, because in the first half they couldn't press him. They couldn't press him in the first half.
This is what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying he would have told them necessarily to sit back, so to speak. Like I said, I think it's just generally they just lost their energy. Like you could see that they just couldn't even. What's his Bellegarde? That's it. Because I thought he was really, really good. I didn't even know who he was. I was like, bro, who the hell is this Bellegarde, brother? Like, I have to start doing a scout report on this brother. Like, who is he? Yeah, like he was pressing really, really well. And you're right, 100%. That's definitely the one thing that I agreed with you there is that McAllister, we definitely need to have a conversation about that guy. McAllister in that sixth position for some weird reason. I don't know what it is, because when teams start to press him, I would have had it the other way around. Before the ball was kicked, I would have told you, if you asked me, right, out of the two, McAllister and Szoboszlai, who's more press resistant? I would have gone McAllister, like just from seeing them both. Not because I don't think Szoboszlai is not press resistant, but we've seen McAllister literally two-man on his backside for Brighton, man just popping it off, to spinner man, him and Caicedo doing their thing in that middle park. So I would have said, but for some weird reason now, we're seeing it and we can see 100%, that's why I say agree. Szoboszlai, he just seems to be, I think he just seems to be better or more or stronger on the ball. Like he's able to kind of withstand these kind of challenges that are coming into, if they do come into him. And then on the other side, again, he's press resistant in terms of when he gets the ball, he can then pop it off and stuff. But I do still feel that, with Wolves in that second half, I genuinely believe they just couldn't keep that level of intensity, because before, and it wasn't even a full 45 minutes. I'll say the last minute, I think we had a chance to score. I think Salah shot, then it came back out, Szoboszlai, then they shot. I think they all blocked it on the line and stuff. I think this was just before half time, if I'm correct. I could see it, like they were just slowly, as the half was going, especially when they missed that second, when Cunha should have scored, I just saw like that drop of intensity, and I was like, oh, this is just going to end up, hopefully anyway for us, it's going to be long for them, because we've got other players on the bench and Liverpool are good at getting that second win. Wolves don't look like they can get that second win. So that second half, when it starts, it's like Liverpool just come out and all of a sudden, second win now. You bring on, obviously, Luis Diaz. He now brings a bit more energy to that front line, because obviously Jota, Gakpo, them man were just doing absolutely nothing up there. So Szoboszlai, you drop him a little bit deeper, where he can pick up passes anyway from any position. Now you've dropped him into a position where you can give him the ball a bit more, where his game isn't necessarily going to be about, trying to be so industrial in the midfield, because he doesn't need to be. He's not playing as that 8 anymore. As you said, he's playing in a pivot with Curtis Jones. They're not doing that 8 position. Now it's just those two in that midfield position. Guess what? I need you guys to just look forward. Instead of constantly running back, running forward, running back, running forward, we've now got the wingers / the fullbacks to do that. Robbo, Gomez, Harvey Elliott, Luis Diaz. You guys are going to almost play in that midfield / defensive position and obviously get further forward. Give the ball to the two, I'll say the two best players on the pitch anyway on the day, where if I need someone on the ball who I can trust, they're probably the only two that we can probably think of. Outside. I think, those are the probably, maybe if Trent was there potentially, but those are the two players. Give them the ball. So that's why I feel like you're going to see that second half, those numbers are going to spike, because Wolves were just like more or less trying to just, in my opinion, just more contain things. And then they were playing a lot more of a counter-attacking football. Whereas in that first half, fuck that. They were on, we're going to press you regardless. So Szoboszlai in that 8 position, you're not going to get time. He had no time. He had 0 time to do anything. Bellegarde and whoever else in the middle, pressing like no man's business. Jones didn't even remember he was playing. It wasn't until my boy said to me, why is Jones on the left wing? I said, swear. I couldn't even tell you that he was even playing in the game. The attack, they were shit. We already know what they were about. I actually thought the defense wasn't even too bad. I actually just thought it was just the midfield that were kind of fucking us up in that game, because they were winning that battle. As soon as they lost that battle, the game was done. Like Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, and all these other guys, them man have got way more quality than these guys, so they can really cut you to the sword. But I do agree with what you said about McAllister, though. But yeah, that's a conversation. Definitely, that's definitely a conversation.
100%. Just to go and obviously signify and portray and show people, this is a touch map for Szoboszlai in the first half. So as you can see, very much on that right-hand side, coming deeper a bit, but just off that right-hand side, just a bit further forward, allowing Gomez to invert, allowing Salah to get out wide and kind of offering an option in there. Moving into that deeper role, this is obviously his touch map in the second half, obviously shooting right to left as opposed to left to right in that first half. Way more touches, much more central, and dictated the game from that point. And I think that's why it was so important, because that for me was the foundation that allowed Liverpool to then go on and build and be like, cool, you know what? Allow us to build and be like, you know what? Cool. Now we can go and assert ourselves. Now we can get Robbo forward. Now we can get our midfielders forward. Now, obviously Jones didn't have that role anymore, but Elliott on that right-hand side was doing the kind of Jones-esque role, that kind of a more advanced kind of left, right wing, right mid kind of right central mid position. And I think it enabled him to do really well. And obviously took his goal really, really, really well. So yeah, great performance from me with Szoboszlai. And when I looked at that, I think it was just something surprising, because to me, I was like, this isn't a player that I would have ever associated with being like this mad maestro in terms of dominating games. I never thought that was his game. But it shows that, maybe Liverpool are really trying to go down this total football route where at any given point, you don't know where this brother's going to play. You don't know if he's going to play in the 6. You don't know if he's going to play in the 8. He might be playing in the 10. And it's something that in game, Klopp can just be like, you know what? We're going to do this. We need longer range passing from deep. McAllister swap with Szoboszlai. We need someone to drive with the ball from midfield. Jones swap with McAllister. Do you know what I mean? Something.
Do you think, this is something that me, you, and Roms and Ish, we always poke fun at, yeah. So do you think when it comes to Szoboszlai, it's going to be another Thiago situation, i.e., we're not going to see the Thiago that we saw at Bayern Munich. Obviously that ship sailed anyway, but in a general sense, we thought when we signed Thiago, oh my days, world class, just come off winning the Champions League, probably the top 2-3 midfielders in the world at that current moment in time. Man of the match winning performances, throughout that Champions League run, playing alongside Kimmich. We thought, I don't know what you thought, but I thought, we're signing this guy. Liverpool about to take over. I was expecting that same player to then turn around in a year or two's time to hear that the thing that he's learning is how to run and stuff like that. Even though Thiago, let's not lie. He's Liverpool's. If we just talked about pure ability, he's Liverpool's best midfielder. He's not even close. He's Liverpool's best midfielder. As in terms of everything that you would probably want from just a midfielder in a general sense, he would probably be, in my personal opinion, that type of player. Can dribble, can pass, can go ghost past the man, can thread the eye of the needle passes and stuff like that. He can tackle, as he's been doing for the last 2 years and stuff like that. Are we going to see that, do you think, with Szoboszlai, which is beginning of the season, everyone looked at Szoboszlai, and I see people obviously mention about Steven Gerrard and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 i.e. someone who can get you goals, get you assists, and do this and do that. Me personally, I don't think we're going to see that. But do you think we're going to start seeing that now? It's going to be a different role from Szoboszlai. So, as you mentioned, him in the 6, the Hungarian coach mentioned, he can play in that 6th position. Are we going to see that guy as opposed to the guy that we thought we were going to sign? And then the second part to that question, how does that look in 2 years' time? Because we just saw what happened with Thiago. I don't even want this guy like that in the team anymore, because I'm just like, you're not even really useful to me. Obviously, injuries play a major part for him, but in a general sense, you're not doing too much here, kind of thing. Are we going to see that with Szoboszlai? So we're not going to see no 10 goals, 15 goals, like everyone told me. I was hearing 10, 15 assists and them thing. That are we going to see a difference?
Do you know what it is? I think, Szoboszlai is being helped by the fact, and I think a lot of players are, by the fact that they're unknown entities and aren't world-class players that have established themselves at a level. So even when you're asking me, are we going to see the Szoboszlai that we did? If I'm being honest, what is that Szoboszlai? I've seen like 5 games that I can, like maybe 5 games in my whole life, like 90-minute games of him. That's including this season. That's including this season. So when people are telling me, I'd have seen highlights of him, I would have heard about him, I'd have played him on Football Manager, even signed him on FIFA career mode. So I know what type of midfielder he is. But did I look at him and I'm like, like a Thiago, where, you know, like if De Bruyne, you know what you're getting with De Bruyne now. You didn't know what you were getting with Salah. So when if Salah ended up playing left wing, you would have been like, yeah, that's calm. It's like with Gini Wijnaldum. Like Gini Wijnaldum was an attacking midfielder. He ended up playing the 8 and a more kind of conservative 8. We were just like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, it is what it is. Because we don't know. It's like if we signed, I don't know, man, some brother called Ali Nuss as an example. Yeah, shout out to yourself. We signed him, yeah? He's in the comments right there as an example. Or an LVFC TV, a Baz, yeah? And Baz always career is played as a striker. But he signs for Liverpool, we don't know him. You're playing as a DM, bro. If Liverpool do well, it is what it is. So right now, if I'm being honest with Soboslai, it's like if I saw Salah playing in the DM, he'd have to have a Kante style like performance where he's eating everything up. Like, so for me to go, wow, like it actually doesn't matter. He's changed his role. With the Thiago situation, I mean, look, we might as well talk on it because it's been a 3-year, it's the third year anniversary of signing Thiago. He's been pants, man. He's been pants, man. The guy's been dead. The guy's honestly been one of the worst signings Liverpool have ever made. And sorry, I kid you not. And I don't want someone to tell me, but on his day, he's the best. These are the same brothers that are telling me that Pogba's dead because he's always on his day. I had enough of on his day. I don't like on his day players. When's his day then? On his day. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't assist. The pass to assist aren't even like that because a lot of the time he just passes the ball to Henderson. Henderson passes it to Trent and Trent was whipping it in. So he weren't even doing that pass, the pass before the assist. He hasn't actually been an effective midfielder. And I tell you something, and this is for me, it's controversial. On that, you see in that quadruple run that we went on.
Yeah.
If Naby Keita was fit, Naby Keita would have done the exact same job as Thiago.
I agree. People disrespect Naby Keita. Like this guy, like on his day, wasn't probably, I'm not saying Thiago levels, but he weren't even that far off. Like on his day, like if I'm being, Naby Keita was solid, like was hard. Like people need to watch Naby Keita again. Where he was hard. Like when Naby Keita was playing and he was on form and he was just getting games, bro. That brother, he can press, he can tackle, he can intercept, he could dribble, goes past the man, score goals. He would easily score more goals than Thiago would easily, because he's a bit more mobile than that. So yeah, no, I don't even think that's controversial, bro. I agree with you. I agree with you still. I agree with you on that one. But yeah, no, that's what I was just asking. That's why I was genuinely I wanted to know your kind of thoughts, with Szoboszlai, like, because obviously bare people keep saying it, we've seen it already. People said it in the chat here, Steven Gerrard-esque and this, that. I mean, I don't get those kind of vibes because they're just different types of players. Not because I don't think he can't be sick, I just feel they're different type. And the type of player that Steven Gerrard was a fantastic player within such a shit team that the onus was so much on him. He never had Trent, Salah, Van Dijk behind him, Alisson in goal. Like he didn't have players really that he could rely upon too much, other than the odd seasons, the Suarez, Torres, and maybe Alonso. Those like say 4 or 5 seasons in a 17-year career that he probably had. Whereas Szoboszlai, he's got all of these guys. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the onus ain't really on him I don't need Szoboszlai to score the goals because there's a guy up front who can do that for me. I don't need Szoboszlai to be that great defensively because guess what? I got Virgil van Dijk and Alisson behind me. So you just need to be as good as you need to be within that midfield. So I don't really like the comparisons, but I've seen them. I think they're worlds apart in terms of
maybe what it is then is his impact on the midfield. Because like in terms of he's all action in every facet of the game.
But what are we comparing it to though?
Comparing him to Gerrard in terms of
no. Forget the Gerrard, because obviously we can't compare it to him. What are we comparing Szoboszlai to when you're saying impact on the midfield?
But the majority of midfielders, like even like there's no, obviously City don't play like this, but there's no midfielder like a Szoboszlai that I've gone and seen at City. There's no midfielder like a Szoboszlai from what I've seen in this small sample size at United. There's no midfielder like a Szoboszlai in at Spurs. The only argument I've got for a player like that is maybe Bentancur, but Bentancur's not defensively like that, and he ain't got the pace like that. So we're looking at a player that is like, basketball fans will call it like a two-way player. He's equally as good. I'm seeing he's equally as good running down, man, hunting the ball down and winning it back as he is going forward and licking a shot from distance. And Gerrard was the only midfielder that we ever had that was like that, ever.
But do you think, until I get this answer, until I get an answer, do you not think, and again, by the way, I love Szoboszlai. I think he's a fantastic player. Like I wouldn't want to discredit him. But are we not comparing Szoboszlai to Henderson, Fabinho, Ox, and all of these guys? Hence the reason why. Prime example. Obviously, Van Dijk went on to prove that he is one of the world's, if not generational centre backs, of course, because obviously he's a fantastic player. When he came into the squad, I'm sorry, but you didn't come into a squad that, he didn't come into a squad like Vardyol's coming to Manchester City. Yeah, my bro, there's already top defenders here. Like, if you come in here, you're just another good defender. You're going to need to do something super extra in order for you to even stay in the team. Whereas Van Dijk's coming in here, when he came in that time, Lovren, I can't even remember who was even there. Like, we had some shit defenders, and Klavan and them man were even still knocking about. Szoboszlai coming into this midfield, again, Henderson on the way out. Fabinho, legs are done. Ox, never here. Keita, never here. Thiago, never here. What we're comparing him to isn't like we're comparing him to, as an example, an on-form Fabinho, an on-form Henderson, an on-form Ginny. If them man were coming into the team like that, I think maybe I would look at these guys maybe with a bit more respect, and then I probably would say, this brother is, he's doing some stuff. But I feel like we're he didn't do nothing to me, Alexander. I think we're just comparing Szoboszlai to something that we didn't have last season. But what we didn't have last season wasn't top quality anyway. So it's like I mentioned to you, man, in the group the other day. What are we comparing? We're comparing, like, we had duds. So when these men come in, anything that even remotely resembles this would have just been better.
Cool.
It just would have been better.
In the same way, could you not use the same argument with Gerrard then? Gerrard didn't ever come into a midfield.
Well, we had a conversation with Gerrard.
I know. But what I'm saying is, people are comparing him to Gerrard, but the first argument was, but Gerrard was in a team where he had to be that guy. And you're saying Szoboszlai doesn't have to be that guy. But then you're saying that he's coming into a team full of duds because he's replacing the duds. So clearly he has to be that guy. Like, even with Virgil, the argument you could spin is Virgil came into a team where the attack was firing. Like, the way it was firing was like, we ain't seen anything like that. Salah was doing the madness. Mane was doing the madness. Bobby had his best season in the Champions League. You had Coutinho was cutting inside and banging goals as well. Of course, that changeover happened, but that front three still stayed the same. So they were still able, and like you said, he played with that midfield that was that successful. Szoboszlai, of course, hasn't done anything, but when I'm looking at it on the face of it, this was a season where I looked at it and thought, we're deficient in midfield. I know we've signed players, but in my opinion, we didn't sign the right profile.
Agreed.
And he's proven to me that not only is he the right profile, the biggest area, which is this defensive midfield point that we need, he's proven that we don't need it. And whether it's him, whether it's Klopp, whether it's a culmination of him, McAllister and Jones, or him, McAllister and whoever else, we're proving right now we don't need a DM. Because there's a team down southwest London, Chelsea, they've got 4 DMs. They've got 4 DMs. The 2 DMs that we were after. So I've got to look at it and be like, well, when he first came in, I didn't expect him to have this type of impact. But lo and behold, because we don't have this DM, because we're like this, because we're still finding our feet and there's been a complete midfield turnaround, he looks like he's played here since last season. He looks like our most senior midfielder. That's what's giving me the Gerrard impression, is that he's come in and it's like everyone's looking to Szoboszlai. Like, everyone's looking to Szoboszlai. Everyone's giving him the ball. Everyone's telling him to dictate the play. Everyone's telling him to. I know I'm good at set pieces, Trent. But like Trent saying, I know I'm good at set pieces, but you take it. I know I'm good on free kicks, but you take it. You take it, Szoboszlai.
No,
yeah,
listen,
you
look.
stay on the edge of the box and rasp that ball. Yeah, you rasp. Don't get in the box. Bear in mind, you're 6 foot something. You could actually win the header, but we don't want you in the box. You stay on the edge of the box and you rasp it. That's what's making me go and think, okay, this guy, whether we win anything with him or not, he just might be that guy in midfield. And the fact that other fans are looking at him the same way we were looking like at Endo or looking, other fans are talking about Szoboszlai saying, nah, this brother's a bit like this guy's a baller, like he's good. I'm not saying you're not saying he's good, by the way. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Big up to Sadiq Edwards, as expression says. He's oozing sauce.
I think, listen, I think it's, for me, it's just a little, obviously, as Jerry said already, the sample size is so small. For me, I feel like there's better to come from Szoboszlai in a sense. But maybe that's more of a team thing, actually, to be fair. I don't think Liverpool have played that well at all. Well, one game this season against Aston Villa, where I felt like that was total dominance from minute 1 to minute 90. Like that's the kind of Liverpool that I want to obviously continue seeing, moving forward. Obviously, can't play every single game. It can't be like that all the time. So I totally understand that. But I feel like with Szoboszlai, I don't know. There's just something about it that I just feel like, I don't want to say over the top, because again, the sample size is so small, and I get it. People are obviously judging it based upon obviously everything that's happening at this current moment, in time. And Liverpool are undefeated, and Liverpool are sitting joint second, I think, just behind Spurs. I think, unless we're second, I can't remember. On goal difference, cool. So yeah, we're joint second. So at this current moment in time, everything looks lovely. And as Jerry rightfully said as well, obviously he ain't done nothing. If we will go on to win the league, I feel like he will have he will have an impact upon us, doing really, really well this season. I just generally think that it's almost like memories are kind of short, because when you're looking at this, like for me, we're talking about Szoboszlai in that DM position and stuff like that. Still, I mean, I'm still looking at Liverpool defensively in transition, very, very vulnerable. Nothing is changing. Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo, Curtis Jones, throw anybody in there defensively in that transition, we still look vulnerable. It doesn't seem to really matter who the hell is in. I'm not saying that with Szoboszlai in there, it is not better. I do think it is better. And I think you're right. Just play Szoboszlai in that position. Put Mac in that number 8/10 position instead, because he can play between the lines. And I feel like that's what he wants to do, as opposed to being that kind of guy in a Liverpool midfield where you're almost kind of left alone at times in that 6th position and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, defensively, I just still think it's just one of those things. But as you said, Baz, it's still early doors. It's still early doors. We got the points on the board. Who gives a fuck at this current moment in time? Obviously, I just don't think this is going to be sustainable, because I think over a course of period of time, you can kind of see that with the way that Liverpool are playing, even when we do have our best players, so when Van Dijk, Trent, and all these guys are all on the pitch, Liverpool still look vulnerable. It's not like we look amazing, any different. We won 3-1 yesterday. We won 3-0. Like, we still look more or less the same going forward. That's never the problem. It's the other end. And again, we just keep, at this moment in time, we seem to be using up our luck. And that's what I don't like. That's what's bugging me the most. We're using up a lot of luck that I wanted to keep some of that luck for March, April, May. I need it in them times, because as I think you mentioned on another stream that I was watching, or it might have been on the terrace, about when Manchester City, when they get into them kind of period of time, when we see them at the beginning of the season, usually Man City won't really go like 5 wins out of 5. Usually they're doing like a 2 or 3 wins, couple draws. They might even have lost the game at the early part of the season, and then boom, after January they're on some jolting. You're not defeating these guys. Like, they're just on some next thing when it comes after January. But they seem to have no luck at the beginning and all the luck at the end. We're using up quite a lot of luck now, and I'm like, I beg, like, I don't know who we've been praying to, but maybe we just wait, just maybe save those prayers for another time, because Cunha makes it 2-0. It's a different game. Harvey Barnes squares it to Callum Wilson. All of a sudden, Liverpool don't win 2-1. I think it was in the Bournemouth game. They Alisson doesn't save that save the one of the shots from Semenya. I think it was from Semenya. All of a sudden, it's a different game, and I feel like we're starting to use up quite a lot of these, or a lot of the luck at the moment because we're playing so poorly in a general sense that when it comes later, can we still be able to do this later? That's my only worry, and that's my only. Not to say I don't think right now we're looking somewhat decent going forward. It's just as a total package. Come on, man, where we're conceded. They had 26 or something touches in our box in the first half. That is atrocious. That is terrible against Wolves. That's terrible, bro. Man can't keep doing that all the time.
Saying that, yeah. Do you think, yeah, Liverpool? Like, it's actually a question. Do you think Liverpool get better as the season goes on? Because I say that because last season, regardless of how bad we were, we got better.
Yes, we did.
The season before, we were all right, but we got better. Like that quad, like we went on that mad run. Remember, we went on that mad run, which actually got us into that quad talk for the title.
I think we got worse that season. I think we just got worse. You talk about the quad. You talk about the quad season.
Yeah, the quad season. You think we got worse?
Yeah. I feel like the first part of the season, as we saw,
reverse. Yeah, so you're right. You're right. The season before that, so that was Alisson header.
Oh yes. Yeah.
We got better. We got better. And that's of course we got luck in that game, but we got better as the season went on. Liverpool, bar Arsenal last season, and obviously City are the only team that can go and put on a run where they can just win
100%.
10, 12, 13. And they've proved it, right? They've proved it. Under this manager anyway. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a tedious process to kind of get the right balance in the midfield to do what we're trying to do, where we don't have a designated DM that just sits and that doesn't move from that area. And as the fullback moves left, he moves across and just shifts across. What we're doing now is at this rotation thing, where at any moment in time, Szoboszlai might be at left wing, Jones is in the 6, and McAllister's on the right. It might be McAllister that's further forward. You've got Szoboszlai on the right, and you've got Curtis Jones in the DM. It mixes up. And for me, those rotations are going to take... remember, it's like what we spoke about. I don't expect us to be winning the league this season, even though we've started really, really well. The reason being is, even if we had gone and signed Bellingham, Tonali, and flipping Camavinga, that midfield has to learn, even not with this new system, even in that original Klopp system that Klopp wanted to do with Gini, Fabinho, and Henderson. That took a season and a half to get nitty-gritty, to get proper good. Bear in mind, they were together. We obviously got to the Champions final. We lost. They came together in that January. We still finished 4th. People forget. But we won the Champions League. No, we came second. But we came 4th the season before when we went to Kiev. We won the Champions League, but came second. Bear in mind, that team now had a year with each other. And then only then in the Premier League were we able to go on that run where that midfield knew what they were doing. We knew the starting lineup and the midfield were running what they're doing. This midfield is so new. I can't, the same way we go and talk about Chelsea and say, oh, Caicedo, Lavia and this, they're sick, but they're going to need time to go and do this, that. And people are telling them to give them time. I know they've been terrible, but for the midfield, like not to challenge for titles, but to give them time to kind of adapt, and they've got a new manager. I've got to look at that midfield the same way because Szoboszlai is playing in different. So where I look at it, I'm like, cool. We haven't been perfect in all games. Like we haven't, but it's not like the performances have been like the first half, like United, where it's been like a shit performance, but a man scores a goal and like we're riding all up. The goals that we're scoring and the patterns that I'm seeing and the rotations and stuff is actually giving me a lot. And this is me, it's giving me a lot of things to, like a lot of positives. I'm looking at it and thinking, okay. I expect Liverpool to get better because I expect there to be more chemistry. And if there's more chemistry, it means that at times where Szoboszlai cut out a Chelsea attack, and then he played it to McAllister. McAllister played the ball over to Salah. That's going to happen more consistently because they're going to know to do that. It's not going to be like, man's out of position in that situation. I expect Trent not to do silly mistakes, the same types of mistakes he's making. I expect Virgil not to be getting flustered and making challenges outside the box. I expect Matip not to be playing the same amount of games. Like I expect Gomez not to be playing. So when I go and see that, I'm like, okay, that might be a basis for Liverpool to build on, which means that you come January, February, with the amount of games that we've got, if these players stay fit and they start to gel and get that chemistry, they can go on a 7, 8, 9, 10 game run, which might solidify a top 4 place, top 3 place. Heck, it might even put you in the mix with Arsenal and City. I don't think we're there yet, but maybe that's what it is. Of course, my biggest grievance from a defensive standpoint is the individual errors. It's Gomez getting spun like by Neto time and time again, where Neto where Neto's left-footed, but he's ripping you coming inside. How does that happen? That's my situation. That's my issue. Where Virgil is making mad errors of judgment. Where Robbo is doing what he done on the international break. That for me is more of a worry because it means that the players that we got are the issue. That's what for me is I'm seeing because when I'm looking at Klopp, and you know we've been grilling Klopp. In-game management, I can't fault it because there's been 2 games now where he's made in-game changes to go and bend. Well, 3. There's been 3 games. We have 2 games with 10 men that we've navigated and won, and by margins as well. It's not been like, Bournemouth was by a margin, bear in mind, and look what Bournemouth did to Chelsea. Newcastle was a game where we were going to lose, yet he made the right substitution at the right time. Again, he made the right substitutions because every substitution that came on impacted the game. Whether you think Elliott was better, whether you think it was Diaz or Nunes, whatever, every substitution was good. So I can't even criticize the brother right now because my other grievances are just what I prefer in it. Like, I don't like this and that. But I can't complain about that. I can only complain about what I'm seeing. And we're doing well on possession. We're creating chances. Salah's all-round gameplays have gotten better, which we're obviously going to go and talk about because your man's top of the assist chart right now, created 5 chances in the last game. But yeah, it's like that's my worry. And then that's why for me, if my obviously goal was always top 4, just to summarize. So can this team get top 4? Yeah, because I think we're going to go and get better. So what you're seeing as luck, I'm seeing as the same way City were going. I remember people saying City were getting lucky in games. That City last season, that Haaland, they've got Haaland and Haaland scored a goal and it caught them on a counter, but they're not that great and they're not the same City. And Arsenal, we think Arsenal are going to do better and everyone was saying City is not the same City, you know. I think City going to. And Gary Neville, the only one saying, "Hey, listen, this team's going to turn up." Everyone else was saying City were wrong.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's why I kept saying last season when everyone kept saying about Manchester City last season, right? They're looking. I'm like, I don't think people understand the context of Manchester City. Now, I'm not saying they're comparable. Obviously, for me, Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, that's the best team I've ever seen in my life. When you're that good, though, like in terms of you're just the best team out there, whatever, understand that when you drop off, you just drop off to be like still way better than the rest. But now it looks maybe a bit more achievable that teams can hurt you more than they could do before. And then obviously what we started to, even towards the end of the season, they weren't playing any more different than they were playing at the beginning of the season. The only difference now is that they get into this mentality mode. Like it's just Manchester, like Man City and Liverpool seem to do it. They get into these runs, 10, as you said, 10, 12, 13, 14 games. They can just go on these kind of winning runs. What I saw with Manchester City, and again, that was just my own personal opinion, Manchester City was still playing good football. To me, they were dominating games. Not every game, but they were dominating most games and things like that. Just, as you say, just wasn't really getting that luck of the rub of the green, to be honest, near that first part of the season, where they were then getting it towards the end. Well, I say that, but I mean, they were still winning games at the beginning of the season. Whereas I never looked at them and thought at the beginning of the season, I don't know, man. Like here, they look like this and that. They look like this and this, and they look like that. They just generally look like last season. Yeah, what you just said about Liverpool. Yeah, when these guys actually gel, it's going to go back to like another level kind of thing. But they still look really, really good because obviously the style of play and blah, blah, blah. When I do look at Liverpool, I don't see that though. I don't see a team that I do think will get better, but I don't look at the team and think, Jesus Christ, we're going to go from whatever this is, however you rate whatever this is at this current moment in time, to just bang, just on that kind of same, kind of wavelength. I just don't really see it like that. What I do see though is that Liverpool are obviously still a good team. They've showed they've still got that. I hate using the term, that stupid phrase, mentality monsters, because it's such a dumb phrase, but they seem to have that. They've got that in their DNA under Jurgen Klopp, where they can literally just, when they need to just do something, they can just do it. Like it's just one of those things. We've been doing it under Jurgen Klopp for so long, and I feel like we've just got that within our DNA because we've still got some players like Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson, and all these guys who have been doing it with Klopp throughout this kind of time. But when I'm still watching the team, I'm still, as I mentioned before, again, this is why I say context always got to be applied. You look at that Wolves game as an example. If Wolves go 2-0 up, do Liverpool come back? We don't ever know. We will never know. In that Newcastle game, as I mentioned before, if, what's Donny's name, man? Harvey Barnes.
Yo.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, like, it's just...
What the hell?
Is it working now?
Yeah, it's not working, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was saying, but I do agree with JJ in a sense where the midfield does obviously or will start to gel potentially in a way. I just don't know how good that will be for Liverpool in the grand scheme of things. Top four? Yes. I think Liverpool, my prediction at the beginning of the season was Liverpool finish fourth or fifth. Do I think that will change now? I think yes. I think Liverpool can easily finish in that top four position. If that's the aim or whatever, then fine, we've hit the target. Do I think we can go better than that? At the moment, again, things can change. At the moment, I'm like, I don't really know about that. I just think that over a long season, even just taking out injuries and stuff like that, I just think over a season, I just don't see the style of play in the way that we are playing when we will start seeing teams like Wolves come the back end of the season when they're fighting relegation. Yo, they might keep that shit up for 90 minutes. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Certain teams might change. I don't know, Spurs are going for Europe. Guess what? They need them points. Brighton need them points. Yeah, I'm trying to say, like, there's going to be a different context to the league come that period of time. That's why I just feel it'll be different. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's really, really interesting to see, man. And there's good and bad points, I think, with from both sides. I think going forward, Liverpool look really, really good. I do admit they do look really, really good. I just defensively, for me, we've kept one clean sheet in, I think I saw the run since the 17th of April, where we've been on this 16 game or whatever unbeaten run. Liverpool have 4 clean sheets. That is terrible. You cannot win a league that way. I've never seen a team concede that much in that period of time. And we conceded, I think, 16 goals in that period of time. Come on, people, man. We got to see that there is both sides to it. Going forward, really, really good. Defensively, it's not so good. So that's why I feel like over a season, that's not going to work out.
So this season, in terms of clean sheets, only Spurs, City, and Chelsea, or Spurs, City, Chelsea, and Fulham have had 2 clean sheets. The rest have all had 1 in the Premier League. So I look at it, and I'm like, this season, the clean sheet situation, I hear what you're saying, but it's not like we're miles away from City with a clean sheet situation, or miles away from Spurs as an example. The Spurs is a good one because Spurs are on form. Spurs defensively, I think you can get at them defensively as well. I think
100%.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, it's an interesting situation, man. It's just an interesting situation. I think. We'll have to just go.
But then if you take that, because remember, everyone's using, that's what I said from that 16th, 17th of April.
Oh, from April.
Everyone,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
everyone's using that. Even this season, anyway. Even like, I'm not really comparing Liverpool to everyone else in the league. Like, I'm only comparing them really to Arsenal and Manchester City. So if we're not ahead of them or we're not on par with them, regardless of whether it's one clean sheet or whatever behind them, we're still behind them, regardless, kind of thing. But the reality is, when you look at it from then, because that's where we started the run, because everyone wants to use the run from that point till now, which we should, because it's 16 games now that Liverpool have been undefeated. They only have 4 clean sheets and conceded 16 goals within that time. That, for me, is still going to be the worry moving forward, if we're all trying to use that as like a barometer moving, into the latter parts of the season. We'll score goals, of course, bro. I said at the beginning of the season, before we kicked a ball, Liverpool will be top 2, and I still think it's top 2 goal scorers in the league. Calm, super duper calm. We got the firepower. We got the players to score goals. Defensively, though, I'm sorry, I've never seen, in the 30 odd years I've been alive, a team concede too many goals in a season and win the league. As we all know,
you're right. No, you're right on that. You're right on that. Defensive win, like
defense
goals
wins
win you games, defensive win you titles. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, facts. Bare comments in the building, guys. 53 people on a mad Monday where bare man are streaming. So big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we are smashing a like, please. Big up to Sadiq Edwards as well. He's been a member for a month, so massive appreciation for that. Saying big up, gents. Touch a button for the man. Then yeah, me and G, like I said, we're dropping the stuff real soon. Literally, by the end of the week, something needs to be out. So we're definitely going to get you something there. So big up to yourself. We've got a question from Sadiq saying, ask why after international break, why we need to play an early kickoff? Why not lesser sides? Because it's BT, in it. BT only get that
TNT, bro.
Yeah, sorry, TNT. TNT only Discovery Plus, innit? Discovery only get that 12:30 kickoff. They don't get a Friday. They don't get a Saturday. So guess what? They want to have the biggest teams, because for the Premier League, that's the only spot that they've got. That's the only bid that they won. So it means that they're trying to go and make sure that every game that you see on a Saturday is a proper good game. It's a proper good game. So the biggest teams are going to be on there once. Obviously, always on there. Liverpool is a massive club. So along with United as well, we're always going to be there or thereabouts in terms of 12:30 kickoffs, man. So it is what it is. We got Lucky Sia, big up to yourself, saying, JJ, can Big Verge play in the Europa League, or does that ban include both Prem and Europa? No, it's just Prem. It's a different footballing association. So I think Verge might play in the Europa League. So yeah, G was right. G was saying that. Do you know what I mean? Our first teamers would be playing in the Europa League. It's worked out that way, innit? It's worked out that way. We've got Dana Jack saying, I think Klopp might be just going for players that can play any position. So if shit hits the fan, that person is able to fill that position. It's an idealistic way of thinking about football. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's the way I think about football. Like, I love players that are just like,
yeah. Jerry loves that. Jerry loves it. Jerry's always telling everyone, bro, if you're a footballer, you just pay this, you should be able to do that. Jerry, exactly. You know what? You're actually Klopp.
I'm a couple of Linders. Pick one. I'm a couple of Linders. No, but 100% for me, like a brother, like that's why my favorite players are like your Stoneses, do you know what I mean? Your Rodriguez, even like your David Luiz's as an example, because man can play multiple positions and his level doesn't really change. It's just the same. Like, it's just like Ben White, I like what Julian Timber, those are my types of ballers, because I'm like, yeah, okay, you can just play football. You understand football to such a high level. It doesn't matter where you play, you're just going to give a solid performance. And those people are invaluable. It means they can play in any team. It means it doesn't matter what system it is, they can play in any team because they're that good. Do you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. We got Robert Sly. This is for you, G. I'll just chuck this at you. Who is our best front three in your opinion?
Right now, I'll probably go with.
Come on.
Diaz.
Who?
Yeah. I know. I'll probably go with. Yeah, bro, he's in the mud right now. He's actually in the mud. Yeah, Diaz, Salah.
Say it. Let's say we have to go and play Man City tomorrow. Everyone's fit.
Man City.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I'll play
Final.
Gakpo. I'll play Gakpo.
I'm
I'll play Gakpo.
never doing. I'm getting Nunes. I know they're gonna press him behind. I know it's gonna disjoint them. We need chaos. We need chaos. Right? We can't try and do when we ain't got Bobby. We can't do like we're gonna try to beat you at ball. No. Dead. We're gonna sit back, sign the 6 balls over the top, Virgil balls over the top, and just getting Nunes and Diaz and run onto them. That's how.
I don't know. Okay, let's put it this way. When I saw, was it Aston Villa? When we play against Aston Villa, they play a high line and they play him behind. I don't think Nunes was that great in that game. I don't feel like he was all of that.
But think about it. He assisted the goal for he assisted one goal, and the other goal, as in he weren't like amazing in terms of his finishing, but he just caused havoc. He's the reason why he caused havoc, bro. As soon as we take him off and Gakpo starts dropping deep, we look dead. We look like low penetration.
I didn't think that. I'm not saying he was dead, by the way. I just want people to not misconstrue. I don't think he was dead or anything like that. I thought he was decent in the game, but I thought it was just that. I thought like, oh yeah, that was a decent game from Nunes. Nothing too spectacular.
I wasn't involved in the whole in everything that was going forward. We won. Was it? 4
but then that goes back to the thing we always say about Salah. Yeah, he got the 2 assists. Mine was pony the rest of the game though. I could say the same for Nunes. I don't feel like he did anything outside of those things, but the stats will tell you he got the assist.
No, but it's not about the stats. I know he got the assist, but I'm telling you, like the ball's in behind, wins the foul for Salah. Remember, he wins the foul for Salah.
Yeah. Like it was a good, I would say, good 7 out of 10 performance. Good 7 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, that's but I hear you.
Yeah.
But honestly saying, how can we blame Mac 10 this game? He was knackered. Even Klopp said it after the match. Remember, he was on an auction thanks to Bolivia. He just landed less than 25 hours ago. He shouldn't have started. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about that, man. I don't care. He could have had an asthma pump. If Klopp played him, you play, innit? Like, yeah, you made a mistake, but you played him. Alisson was fine.
Mm.
If he was that bad, why play him?
Very true. Very true.
If he was on oxygen, why play him? Because Konate didn't play him. Konate trained for 2 days. And we decided not to play Konate because of his injury concerns.
Yeah.
But McAllister was mad tired.
I
don't know. Ultra saying 3-star swordsman, Bundahan Avelvi. The 4-3-2-1 formation we did in the second half. Could there be a world where McAllister, Jones, Gravic, Birch, and Endo with Soboslai in the 10? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I was playing FIFA, I wanted to be a bit more like controlling. I'd go 4-2-3-1 narrow. Endo, McAllister in the DM, or Grav in the DM with Endo, Soboslai on the right, Mac in the 10, and Jones on the left. I would probably do that. I don't know about you, but maybe. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could work. I can't see why I couldn't.
Cool.
Yo. Yeah.
This is mad delayed. It's mad delayed, but cool. We've got Ali Nuss saying Sobo tried to help Gomez with Neto, but they both lost it in the first half. We all know that Salah doesn't come to defend his side, so Sobo tried to defend the right-hand side. I agree. And then he's saying, but if you watch Soboslai history, he played more in attack. Klopp asked him to play box to box. This guy's an attacking midfielder or right wing. And by the way, Mac is not a DM. He never played DM. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was really impressed with Soboslai. I think McAllister has played as a double pivot, not as a single DM, but he's played as a double pivot as a DM. And for me, if he's playing there, I'm still going to judge him on that. You're saying he's never played there and it's difficult. I understand, but you're playing there. Like, you performed well there. You were good against Chelsea. You were good against all these other teams. You were poor against Wolves. Do you know what I mean? We have now those saying we need to get consistency in our centre-back pairing that will improve us. I agree. Sadiq Edder saying, let's see what Endo brings to the table. Hopefully we get Andre in January. Yeah, that strengthens our strengths in depth, 100%, man. We've got Jamrock, shout out to yourself, saying, so hold up. You see this Man City midfield gelling even with Nunes Kovacic. Hold on, even with Nunes and Kovacic, with De Bruyne out injured for half the season. Just in time, G. What are you saying? Yeah, it's not working with G at all. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with G. Yeah, for me, I still see it gelling. I think Kovacic is ridiculous. I think Nunes gives them a different aspect in midfield. I think Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Foden, that whole link, like Foden needs to step up now anyway. I think De Bruyne will be back, and I think Kovacic, I think he's an amazing player. Jamrock saying, this Man City team doesn't scare me like the 18-19 team, sorry. I think City just scare me in general, if I'm being honest. We've got Basti, big up to yourself, saying G could have a point with his take. However, we are a problem going forward. We just seem to get goals from anywhere now. 100%, we just seem to get goals. Like, how can we go from, being so bad against Wolves to winning 3-1? Like, having that firepower is ridiculous. Angel 1968 saying, in 3 away games, Liverpool have lost control of the game for long periods. In my opinion, top 4, but I would like a challenge. I hear you. We've got Sadiq saying, same as when Klopp took over. We leaked goals. We just had a Ferrari front and a Skoda back. Jeez, you're talking like that girl from the bar, A Ferrari front, face and cleavage great. The back looking horrendous, like that. Jamrock saying G smoked a big spliff or something. He just spaced out. Listen, I don't know, it's gone. Honestly saying G internet is like Man U and Chelsea all over the place, 100%. Now they're saying, yeah, so it's like itching to make those runs forwards. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do that in that game, though, so it was crazy. Alan is saying Darwin contribution versus Villa was deadly, even versus Wolves. When Diaz and Nunes joined, they changed the face of the game. Not only about scoring. I agree. Although I want my strikers to score, though. Phil Bander saying, well, that's Klopp faults, not McAllister. No, it's yeah, but at the same time, it's your ability as a player, though. I'm going to judge you were not great. Like, you weren't great in that midfield. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of why that is, you weren't great. Alexander Deles saying Klopp maybe thought Mac unlocked the max lung settings. Yeah, he ain't got that badge yet. He hasn't got that badge. Jamrock saying you beat Man City play counter-attacking. Exactly. Be more dangerous without the ball. We got a question from Honesty saying, Mandem, since Klopp actually said that after the first half he completely changed tactics and formation, does this mean he trusts his proper player more than the ones who left? I think so. I think 100%. I think if we share it before we head out, I want to share something with you guys. So we started off. Obviously, the game like this. This is obviously the first half of Wolves. Obviously, 4-3-3. In attack at times, it would look something like this. He move across. It would look something like that at times, but it just weren't great. Like, we weren't able to move the ball about. The patterns were poor. As I said, we couldn't make 2 passes. He was going inverted at times. Like, it sometimes was like this in that first half, and this was mad. Seeing Joe Gomez inverted was mad to see. It was mad to see, man. Like, it would have been a stroke of genius, but I respect Klopp for obviously pushing with the whole move. He's not going to change his stance on that, which is fair. Interestingly enough, if I go and show you how he ended up, which is really, really interesting. This is the second half versus Wolves. Joe Gomez playing more as a centre-back. At times, sometimes as a right-back as well, with Robertson dropping. Robertson got really, really advanced. Luis Diaz on the left, Nunes, Salah, which will be rotating. They would be dropped. At times, it would be something like this. At times, it was like that, which was really, really, really good to go and see. Really good to go and see, as in dictating the play. These guys were coming off. These guys were rotating. Robertson's goal, as we know, actually came from this side. We ended up having something like this because of the ability to go and rotate, right? It actually ended up being something like this. Where Salah's played that. Obviously, keeper, poor kick from the Wolves keeper, Jose Sarr, booted in, great touch from Robertson, passes it to Salah, or Elliot passed to Salah, Robertson carries on his run into the box, and boom, he gets the goal. This is the position that we ended up scoring the goal in. which shows that we're trying to adopt this style where we're great on multi-facets and great on other styles of the game. Yeah, G's back in the building as well. So as I've shown you people, yeah, it's mad. It's mad when you go and see that.
Now it is. One thing I wanted to say. Obviously, you haven't got the player. He's not on the thing because someone mentioned. I saw in the comments just before I came off about McAllister and the DM, and you kind of answered the question there anyway. But I'm sorry, people spent the entire time. Okay, cool. Because cool. People spent the whole summer telling me, yeah, he could play DM, he could play centre mid, he could play attacking mid. This guy could play in all three positions. He's really good. So why am I not seeing it now then? At the moment, I'm sorry, but he's not impressed me at all since he joined here. He's got good passages of play. He does some good bits. We know that he's a fantastic player, but I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hear that. If we had spent, as an example, 80 million on McAllister right now, I would say, yeah, Liverpool are getting bumped right now for the price. We're getting bumped. 100% we're getting bumped. Like, I'm sorry, like people were making out like this guy wasn't playing in that DM position for Brighton. He played there, so he can play in that one here. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and I'm not saying he has to play to a fantastic level or anything like that, but come on, man. McAllister definitely got to play better than this. Definitely got to play better than this, man. Like, this isn't really working for me. Like, you're getting hooked off at half time because you were so bad in a team that was that was shit. You were one of the worst. Manager said, yeah, you got to go, my guy. You get what I'm trying to say? And I'm seeing it in quite a lot of games that he just doesn't. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like either we're playing too quick for him, or yeah, I'm gonna just go with that for now. Let me not, because I like McAllister a lot. Right now, it just looks like the game is just passing.
Yeah, what I think it is the way Liverpool want to go and play. Liverpool, look, we've become a possession-based team, and I was actually talking to someone about this. We become a possession-based team, but we're not doing it in the same way that City do it. So our sake of possession is to, when we're in tight spaces, is about working the ball, but then getting it out and getting the exit really, really quickly and being very, very direct. So if we can get from back to front in one or two passes, that is the best way to go and do it. City go and build up with small passes throughout the whole team. Brighton do a similar thing. So McAllister is getting more touches of the ball. What we're seeing from Liverpool, and we see it, is the likes of Szoboszlai, Jones, McAllister. If you're getting the ball, you need to be able to have a travel very quickly with the ball and release it, or you need to go and play that very direct. That your first pass has to be that pass that McAllister played to Salah for us to get that goal. For us to get that goal against Chelsea. Yeah, it's got to be that. Other than that, you're bypassing him. Like, he's an option, but he's the same option that we spoke that Wijnaldum was. It's the same type of option. It's the same type of player that keeps ticking, very neat and tidy, Mr. Reliable in the midfield, but he's not going to be this. But
then, Jerry, even but this is my thing. This is my thing. I'm not asking him to do any of that. Like, I don't need him to be good. Like that, we don't have a Gundogan in our team. We ain't got no one of that kind of quality who I'm confident can get you the goals needed to win titles. We don't have no one like that, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't need him to be that though, because as we know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. All I'm asking for him to do really is showcase kind of what he was doing at Brighton. Now, I know everyone's saying, but he had Caicedo. Let's stop this, please. Let's stop this. Let's stop using, but he had this person next to him, so he could do this, that, and the third. And he looked at, no. I'm not seeing even just the basics almost with him. What I'm seeing with him is that in certain, like in games, as you mentioned before, that pass to Salah, get the ball out, boom, 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 boom. Outside of that pass, I can't really remember too much he actually did in that game anyway, but we'll say he had a decent game, so to speak, in that kind of game. Every other game, this guy looks like he's getting bypassed in games. He got sent off. Now, it was rescinded, but guess what? He wasn't quick enough to get to that anyway. Hence the reason why he drew the foul in the first place. Like, he just doesn't seem to be able to, again, this is just in a Klopp system, which is why I mentioned it before we signed him. I never looked at him as a Klopp type of player unless you use him exactly how he needs to be used, like how he was used in a Brighton side or whatever, or he would have to go to like a Manchester City where, as you said, little passes, build up play and all that, because that's his football. But we don't play that kind of football. So Bozolai, as we've seen, he can obviously do, would I say, both kind of phases, so to speak. I mean, I'm not seeing him too much in the little kind of passes, but he is someone who get the ball, boom, he can pop it out. He's industrial as well. So that then works in his favor. With McAllister, he's not industrial at all. He's not that type of player, which is absolutely fine. I don't need him to be. I don't even want him to be, because I want McAllister to be that guy. Like, I want him to be the guy where when he does get the ball, he's almost able to dictate play and stuff. Effectively, almost what Szoboszlai was doing in that second half, as you mentioned before, getting on the ball, doing the Curtis Jones thing, because that's what we, again, I'm only going based on what we all said at the beginning of the season. That's what we thought he was going to come and do. Right now, Donny's just getting bypassed, and I'm just like, brother, like, are you okay? Like, do you need oxygen every game or something? Like, is the oxygen crazy like that?
Yeah, I think people need to understand the whole idea. And like I said, that we were going into this season, we need the DM, we need the 6, we need this destroyer. Look at the profile of DMs that we were trying to go and get. Yeah, we were trying to go and get a Caicedo. That's the only real destroyer that we were ever actually linked with. Lavia is not like that. Andre Trindade is not like that. Amrabat's not really like that. Manu Kone is not like that. Kefren Turam's not like that. Gravenberg that we managed to sign isn't like that. Liverpool do not want a 6, a dog, a pit bull in the DM, a guy who runs 15 kilometers per game. Liverpool do not want that. They don't want that. They want a player that's multifaceted, that can do a multitude of different things in the midfield. Hence why they can all rotate and do different things. I agree with D, but the argument that, having someone like a Caicedo frees up some of the defensive responsibilities, it just depends on the system. It just depends on the system. It's McAllister right now, it's not even about the fact that, he's not getting touches or we're doing this or he's getting bypassed from a defensive standpoint. Offensively, he gets bypassed because when Trent gets the ball, the first thought, right, that Trent, and this is direct from Klopp, he's spoken about it, is getting the ball back to front as quickly as possible. How quick can you be on the transition? Go and look at how Liverpool do the rondos. The rondos is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short passes, bang, pass, and it's straight onto attack, direct into a Salah, and then we're attacking. Look at the way City do rondos in the small-sided games. Pass, and they work everything as a team. The idea is completely different, which means that when we're seeing McAllister and what he was doing for City is going to be, for Brighton, is going to be completely different to what his role is going to be there for Liverpool. If anything, he's coming to do that Gini Wijnaldum role. If you were to go back to what we're doing, he's come to do that Gini Wijnaldum role. It isn't about him being the guy that's going to do what Szoboszlai is doing, like you're saying, like G's saying, in my opinion. It's not about that because he cannot transition the ball quick enough. Unless it's with the ball, it's like with Thiago. Unless it's with the ball, he hasn't even got the pace anymore to go and transition like that. Hence why we always went with an Elliott in midfield that can run with the ball very, very fast. Hence why we always direct with a long pass by Verge. When do you see Stones ever play a diagonal 40-yard ball into forwards unless they're playing against Liverpool? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So when we're looking at it, this is a tactic from the manager that's saying, yeah, we've got a McAllister in there that we can use in our team, which is great. It means that if Trent's got the ball, right, and he comes inverted, he wants to go direct into Jota or into Salah or into Gakpo or Nunes or whoever. They're running tracked. I'm about to be pressed, but guess who I've got there that I can pop it to that's good in small, tight areas? McAllister. Who was that person before? Gini Wijnaldum. After that, it was Thiago. Who was there last season, at the back end last season? Jones. These are brothers that are very, very, very good in small areas. But we always have the same issue with any player that's played on the left-hand side of midfield. Every single time, it's why are they not being more attacking? Why are they not doing what they did in this team? Why is Jones not doing the same thing he did in the under-21s? Why is Wijnaldum not as attacking as he was in the Netherlands? This is all a tactic. It's a tactic. I don't want the left-sided brother doing that because we've got a Trent, because we've got Verge on that side. We just need Verge gets the ball on the left-hand side of the pitch. He looks up. He wants to do the switch. He wants to play that ball direct into Robbo. But he's about to get closed down. He pops it off to Jones. He knows Jones is going to retain the ball. He knows Gini Wijnaldum is press resistant. He knows McAllister's press resistant. He's going to be able to go and do that. what he is. He's the rebound. He's not the guy. He's not the guy that's going to go and be this advanced midfielder unless we were to go and get the DM like you guys are talking about in the chat. But Liverpool haven't gone down that route. We ended up even grabbing 35 mil, 40 mil.
Facts.
The only DM we got, just in case we need a DM, is a guy that's not going to play a lot, and it's Endo. That's what I've come to the realization of. Because every player that plays on this left-hand side of midfield, right, is always doing that same role. Carvalho was doing last season.
No, it's no. Now, what you're saying is facts, though. Like that, but this, I feel like this is what I'm trying to get to. You know, get the point across to people is that I don't like the whole notion. Like I've always hated this thing about a player needs another player to look good. I hate that. Like I hate that kind of stuff because then you're telling me that player is not that good. Then take that other guy next to him out of it. Are you trying to tell me that he's not good, bro? We know McAllister's good.
It's like the Gomez situation, isn't it? Like Gomez is only good when he's playing with Verge.
Exactly.
So then really without him. Like what happens with Verge? Do we have to buy 2 new centre backs now?
The thing is that's the thing though. And this is what I'm saying. To me, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, nah, they're not a good player then. Because no top player, and to be players in general, but no top player should ever need someone else to look good. I'm sorry, you should just be good in your own right. If I put you in another team, can you more or less reproduce what you were producing before when you haven't got that guys around you? I.e. Mascherano was at Liverpool, DM, excellent. Guess what? Moved to Barcelona. Donny ended up playing centre back with no Steven Gerrard, no Xabi Alonso. Guess what? He was still top class there. And this Xabi Alonso moved to Bayern, moved to Real Madrid, still top class. Like these players, they don't need a certain man next to them to do the job that they just do their job. Do your job and you'll be fine. Everyone else is that's on them. And that's what I'm saying with McAllister is that everyone in the chat keeps saying, yeah, but we need a deal. No, we don't. McAllister, I beg you, just do better. That's all. Just be better. That's all I'm asking you to do.
I've got to agree with that. Like Ali Nasser, I agree. I hear what you're saying. You're saying in any world will never have a DM profile. I can't see him killing the plays every game. Just can't. I can see him create, yes, but not defending. Compare Fabinho with Mac. Fabinho's like, this is my point. They don't want a defender. They don't. They want a midfield that can rotate, which means that at any point, Szoboszlai can play as a DM. Jones is in the DM. That's why Jones, look, Jones was injured, right? What happened? As soon as Jones came back for injury, who came straight back into the team?
Jones.
It's Jones. Because Klopp wants Jones in there. It wasn't Endo. It wasn't Endo.
Which was surprising.
He could have easily said, McAllister, I want you to play further forward. Yeah, let's get McAllister further forward and play Endo in the DM. Endo's that guy. Endo, the pit bull that we're talking about. What was he called? They called him something. He wears a gum shield for crying out loud. That's the closest thing you're going to get to a muzzle in professional football. Like, he's got a gum shield. What do you want? Do you want him to have the check hat as well, like a rugby player? Like this is what I'm saying. So this is the manager. And now I agree. You're saying, obviously, Alan Usher saying here, look, I'm only afraid that we cannot only attack everybody and scoring goals. We will meet again a team like Real and give us 5 goals at home. We need to work on that. Yes, because Klopp wants the team to defend. He doesn't just want one player doing everything. Yeah. Playing Fabinho doing everything, and he doesn't want that because what happens when you don't have a Fabinho? You got issues.
Yeah. It's true.
What he wants is okay. Fabinho's out. That's fine. That's why do you think Gomez came inverted? Why did Gomez come inverted? Because Klopp is not saying okay, I want this type of right back. No, the right back he wants now is a right back that has to want to go and come inverted. Bradley was doing the same thing in pre-season. Was it Bradley, Connor Bradley, or whoever his name was? Clarkson? Yeah,
Bradley. Yeah. Bradley.
Yeah, he was coming in inverted. It's the same thing.
No, I have to agree with Jerry, man. He's right. I mean, Klopp doesn't want just one Donny, which is probably why, as he mentioned before, why we didn't just go out and try and sign Ugarte or like someone of that kind of ilk, because we didn't want that type of guy.
We could have got
Palhinha, yeah.
Palhinha clearly because Palhinha was available. Like
Mm,
we could have got like Ugarte. That was who else? Flipping even an Amrabat. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going forwards, yeah, he's not like he's a destroyer a bit more, and he's not like this mad like I don't know, Kante or Mascherano, but he's more defensive minded. We've got 4 midfielders in our team that are all just like well-rounded type of, well, proven to be well-rounded. Bar Endo.
Yeah.
Gravenberch can play in the 6, can play in the 8, can play more advanced.
Nah,
You're saying you wanted Alexander wanted Kefren Turam, but guess what? Why were we linked with that brother? Because that's another brother that can play in the 6, can play in the 8, can play more advanced.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because now I'm seeing it a lot more clearly now with the way that even just your little explanation there about the way that obviously wants things set up and etc. It's true, man. It's actually true. Like in terms of he don't want that type of player because I guess that's not how he wants the team to defend. As you mentioned, he wants the team to defend as a team kind of thing. And then hopefully as the season goes, and big up Don and Jax in terms of stressing. It's not about listen, look, don't stress. At the end of the day, 5 games played, 4 wins. Do you know what I mean? So don't be stressing at this current moment in time. I don't think there's the thing is, I think what we're looking. Well, let me not speak for Jerry. Actually, me personally, I've seen this team play fantastically. I've seen it before, so I'm not sitting here from a place of I've never even seen Liverpool play well, and I'm trying to reach some unrealistic like type of football and forget all of that. We've seen 18-19 Liverpool's best ever football and everything that I can think of under Jurgen Klopp was in that season. I can't think of any other season outside of that where Liverpool were just excellent in terms of defensively, going forward, looking like, forget the mentality monsters. We didn't even need the mentality, bro. We were just so dominant. We just looked, heck, even in standing in the tunnel, we just looked bigger and scary and all of we had the physicality, we had the technical ability of certain players, we had the goals, we had everything, in my personal opinion. So when I'm judging this Liverpool team, I'm judging it probably by that standard. And maybe I shouldn't go too high because that's a very, very high standard. We won the Champions League with that team. So maybe that's a bit unfair, but that's the standard I'm looking. So when we see this team and man are conceding chances like no man's business and we're getting let off because Cunha wants to do up whatever he was doing and other teams just don't put the ball in the back of the net, it's going to be stressful to talk about because it's like, well, this don't really look too safe. Like, I don't know if this is going to be conducive for a whole season to go like this and just pray that we can just keep outscoring teams and then just go from there. Like, for me, I feel like there's the Arsenals and the Cities who they've shown me in the last season and even this season that they're not necessarily going to give it up like that, the way that we're almost giving it up, even in games that we are winning. And when we're talking about McAllister in particular, remember, he's the signing that we've made. He's the one that everyone was gassed about because he's a really, really good player, played really well at Brighton, won the World Cup, all of these things. And now we're seeing him here. I'm sorry, but if anyone thinks this guy is doing well, yeah, we need to reevaluate how we're looking at it, because I don't personally think he's doing well. I think he's had good passages of play in certain games, but he's a part of this midfield now. So we need him to do better. We're talking about top 4s and everyone wants to win the Europa League and FA Cup. Is he going to help us do that? Personally, if I had to judge it today and I had to pick between him and Szoboszlai, McAllister, you're out. Szoboszlai, you're the guy that I'm looking to. And, you know, it just needs to be better. That's it. But everything else, been fantastic. Goals and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Interesting. What was I going to do here? Yeah, this is what I'm saying is, you're saying here, Alinas, this is what I'm saying. Did you watch the video when Endo arrives? Klopp told him to go and score. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So if this is the case, even it pushes. Do you know what I mean? It emphasizes my point. Big up to Rob Stewart saying, but also it has to be that way because FSG just won't buy players. So Klopp might just be getting players that can come and cover multiple positions in each position. I mean, maybe that's an argument, maybe, but then I think these are the players that Klopp wants. Look at the players that Klopp we've been linked with. Bellingham is another one. He's proving at Real Madrid he can play in the 10. He played in the 8 for Dortmund. box to box, and at times even played as a kind of like double pivot player. So, and he's done that for England. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's a type of player that plays multiple positions. It's not just one. We've got Honesty saying, I'm not stressed. We started way better than last season with a whole new midfield, which will stumble, but they have enough ability to rise back up. I still see us getting third in Europa League and the Cup. Two trophies. Mad. Quick one. I'm trying to find out. What was the team, yeah? I'm trying to see something. The Netherlands team, yeah? What was the team with like Kluivert in it and that? Or Cruyff was obviously before that, but
Kluivert or Edgar Davids.
Yeah, but do you not remember that midfield? That midfield, they had no DM. It was Seedorf, and who else was it in midfield?
It would have been Edgar Davids. Nah, he was kind of more.
No, but he was on the wing though, innit? Oh, what was that team? What year was it?
Let me check. See if I can see let's say 2002 World Cup, maybe. Let me see the team they had there.
Oh, what? They had Ronald De Boer. Like, Ronald De Boer with no DM.
I forgot about that, man.
But,
like Ronald De Boer in end, man.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. Couple last questions. We've got Honesty saying, question, boys. According to Redmond TV, LFC is jumping at the chance to sign Nico Williams, Iñaki Williams' younger brother from Atletico Bilbao for free in the summer. So it doesn't mean Salah leaves. I mean, do it. If you can get him for free, why not? You can even sell him for profit. Is he going to replace Salah? No, but I guess it's a good start for the squad, isn't it? So that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Ali Nas saying, look, if you want Mac to do well, then put a play in behind the DM and give him the free role to create in the middle. Not going to happen at Liverpool, man. It's just not going to happen at Liverpool. But look, people, thank you so much for tuning in. We've been moving for nearly 2 hours. I am slumped. I need to actually, like, my eyes have gone red. I need to definitely hit the sheets and catch some Zeds. But big up to everyone in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure we are smashing a like on the video. If you're watching this on the replay, please let us know what was your biggest tactical talking point. How did you go and see the game as well? Make sure to join us on Wednesday. Yes, make sure to join us on Wednesday, because on Wednesday we're going to have the preview and the first preview for our Europa League campaign. We are facing.
Jesus Christ! I forgot. There's even we're in Thursday night football. You know, crazy.
Yeah, so we're in the Europa League. So yeah, so we're going to be with you on Wednesday. So guys, make sure that you hit that notification bell. But we're 100% with you guys on Wednesday. Honestly saying, it's your fault, guys. The stream was a vibe, my G. Saying we've been on for 2 hours, and it was. Big up to your dad. So big up to everyone in the building. Yeah, G. Let the people know what's popping on GTV, man.
That's Jerry said it there. Wednesday, catch me here for the preview. Thursday, I will be there. Unfortunately, for this watch along in against who are we playing? Lask. Yeah. So I need to do the research on these guys and find out who's their star men and stuff like that. Just usual stuff. And I got video out coming out maybe. I don't know, actually, sometime this week on Alexis McAllister, just kind of taking a look at him because it has been bugging me for a while. And yeah, that game on the weekend really just was the final straw with him. So yeah, you guys just look out for that. And yeah, guys, please make sure sub in. Make sure you guys obviously become a member. As Jerry mentioned at the beginning of the video, we've got some good stuff obviously lined up and ready to kind of go. So just make sure you guys are obviously just hitting that kind of sub button, man, and we're good to go.
There we go. You heard it here first, man. But until next time, people, stay blessed. It's been the Jerry James Show, and we're out. Take it easy, man.